Have you ever been in a love-hate relationship? I'm in a love-hate relationship with Southern cities. I love Savannah's pecan pralines, the sounds of New Orleans jazz, the fragrance of magnolia blossoms, and the warmth of Southern hospitality. But I felt sick to my stomach as I watched the images on the TV. There was a mass shooting of 9 African Americans at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. Intense waves of heat rushed through my body. I hate the terrorist attack on LGBTQ people at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. And tiki torches burning against the dark night sky over Charlottesville. Southern cities are places of charm, hospitality, and comfort foods. But they are also places where differences among us are not always resolved peacefully. But we can fuel positive momentum by practicing the best of Southern culture and traditions. My ancestors migrated from Greenville, South Carolina, to New Jersey during the Great Migration era of the 1930s. African Americans relocated to the north to escape segregation here in the South and to seek greater economic opportunities. I did an African ancestry DNA test that showed 99% confidence of genetic ancestry with the Timni people of Sierra Leone, West Africa. The Timni were among the African captives brought to the island shores off the coast of South Carolina and Georgia. I'm a 5th-generation descendant who's part of the trend of African American baby boomers who heard the call to move back to the South. The reverse migration began in the 1970s, increased in the 1990s, and picked up speed in the 2000s. In the New York Times article, it indicates that now more than 1 million Black residents of the South were born in the Northeast. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the South is home to 15 of the fastest growing cities in the United States. And 4th on that list is Greenville, South Carolina. I love Greenville's food culture, visual and performing arts, and history. Ironically, the Museum and Library of Confederate History is worth a visit. There is where you'll learn about the history of rebel flags and the establishment of the Confederacy. And you can actually view an original copy of the South Carolina Ordinance of Secession. On December 20th, 1860, South Carolina became the first slave state in the South to declare it had seceded from the United States, igniting the outbreak of the American Civil War. I hate rebel flags camouflaged as heritage. I hate the myth that benevolent slave owners treated their human property like family. I get a tightness in my chest and a shortness of breath when I think about the hardship of slavery and bondage that my ancestors suffered. And that's what fuels this emotional roller coaster. Because I love features of Southern culture and tradition that can fuel positive momentum. Positive momentum is a psychological force in which several dynamics interact together in a synergistic way. And researchers have found there are 3 patterns There's the frequency of occurrences, the duration of occurrences, and the intensity of occurrences. And actually, positive momentum starts as a conscious process and then becomes automatic mindset and behavior. Features of Southern culture, and we can create a positive momentum using it, using frequency, duration, and intensity. Because actually, features of Southern culture and tradition tap into our best human impulses. And imagine practicing them until they actually become your normal nature. There's the hospitality of strangers, the importance of family, the value of hard work, and praying before meals. Southern culture establishes respect for everyone by saying yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, regardless of age, because there's no such thing as being too polite in the South. American folklorist and author Zora Neale Hurston, in 1940, made a black and white documentary about Beaufort, South Carolina. A few years ago, a colleague and I visited Beaufort Middle School, and we showed the students Hurston's documentary. After watching the short film, we asked the middle schoolers, "What is community to you?" And here are a few of their responses. Say, community is a place when a group of people join together like a family. It's a feeling of belonging. It's a group of people living together with a common purpose. It's people helping each other. I think these were very insightful responses. I mean, we all want to live in a place where the values of humanity live in the culture and tradition. Psychology researchers have found that someone can love deeply, but sometimes hate the target object. Yet the feeling of love can still dominate in the context of betrayal. My coming back to the South isn't out of hate, it's out of love. It's a love, not a romanticism. It's a love for humankind. It's a love that's an unconditional love that seeks the best for ourselves and others. Considering the divisiveness between us, I think we could use with more unconditional love. Now, I feel a sense of connection here. Memories of my ancestors saturate the air and the soil. Most of my students were born and raised in small Southern communities, and some have never had an African American teacher, nevertheless, or certainly not an African American college professor. My students and I create positive momentum together by encouraging each other repeatedly to embrace the diversity and the greatness of our human family. But why should we all care? Because we really are required and responsible to leave the world a better place. I feel the heaviness of James Byrd's dragging death by 4 white supremacists in Jasper, Texas. It's time to close that painful chapter. We can actually replace old forms of hate with new forms of healing. And we can all be a part of what that means. Because I love the taste of Birmingham barbecue. The uniqueness of Savannah's iconic squares, and the deep soul of Blind Willie McTell's song, Statesboro Blues. Thank you.